Hello everybody, we're back. My wisdom teeth removed on Friday and I kinda don't like this. Anyway, today we are on the post-lockdown era, which spans from March 12th to April 25th. March 12th, Tommy finally gets out of prison. Tubbo freaks out after seeing Tommy because, man was dead, and now he's not, so understandable. He's like, hey, by the way, I talked to Wilbur in the afterlife, and yeah, we didn't defeat Dream. Maybe not great things to say. Also goes to Puffy's therapy house, and yeah, that kid needs therapy. Also, when he's walking around, he sees Quackity, and Quackity also denies that Tommy's alive. At this point, we had Ghost Spur, so, is it that, implausible? Also, Jack and Nikki are upset. Are we surprised? No. Jack wants to become a prison guard at Pandora's Vault, so Dream can't revive Tommy, but Tommy's already revived. Rambu also freaks out, some writing in his memory book, and, newsflash, now he kind of wants Dream to be dead. March 14th. Tommy's walking around again, and it must be so horrific to see memorials for your death in life, and you're like, hey, I'm not dead anymore. Tommy is really planning to kill Dream too, and at this point, I think a majority of the server would agree with him that that is something that should be done. Tommy also meets up with Ghost Spur and a touchy subject because Ghost Spur thinks that reviving Wilbur is a good idea, and Tommy is very much against this. Also, Rambu and Ghost Spur start talking, and Ghost Spur's like, hey, we should revive Mexican Dream. I don't know why, but okay. It's also kind of sad because if Wilbur is to get revived, then Ghost Spur would disappear, and he's kind of come to terms with that, which is depressing, but that's kind of sweet, I guess. Puffy also learns about everyone's plots to kill Dream. She'll remember that. Like a real therapist, she's like, hey, killing Dream won't solve your problems, Tommy. The problems are from within. Kill Dream, Tommy, do it. March 16th. Quackity confirms that he will start working on Las Nevadas. I always forget that Las Vegas is a real place in Nevada. My brain just correlates the two now. I don't know if that's a good thing. But hey, Las Nevadas is going to be there, so there's that. March 17th. Okay, Punk is kind of suspicious of Snowchester for just appearing, and for some reason thinks Nikki is starting a cult and that it's communist. I don't know where this all came from, but it's there. That can basically be 90% of the lore in anything that happens in the series. I don't know what it is, but it's there. And Nikki's been making progress on her city. Also, Rambu takes the time to explore some of the lore of his character. Just cause, it can be a bit confusing. What's the other half, Rambu? Enderman and what? March 18th. Fundy conducts a social experiment, but we all know those are fake. Yeah, the social experiment ends in a lot of things getting blown up and TNT just everywhere, so it didn't go the best. March 19th. Rambu's working on something called Big Hole, and this is another reminder that the people on the server cannot name things. Just why? March 20th. Carl hosts The Pit. It's an episode of Tales from the Dsmp. It's the 8th episode. We have Carl, of course, Emperor Porcius the 7th. I don't remember how to read Roman numerals, I'm sorry. And everyone's watching a gladiator fight in a coliseum. See who's going to be the new general. Characters. We got Carl, Edward, Porcius, Ron, Watson, Jackie, Bartholomew, Genevieve, John, Levi, and Lagius. Only 3 of those sounded ancient. Okay, Carl just shows up in the middle of this empire and is met by the Emperor. So the Emperor needs a cameraman. So it's ancient Roman inspired. So there's a few rounds of who is going to fight. Lagius and Jackie end up going against each other. So to not get killed, Carl films everything. Kind of weird. Jackie wins. The second round, we have Bartholomew, who is a bit of a drunk, and Watson at a shooting range. Bartholomew wins. Next round, round 3, we meet Levi and John. He's dismissed, though, because his name is boring. I would agree. And so we have Genevieve now, which she wins. So, woman I can't laugh, it hurts. 5th round, we have Ron and Edward. But because Ron's name is cool, John goes up against Edward. Edward wins. Semifinals. Carl basically just goes and interviews everyone like a good cameraman. And then we have the 5th round. It was kind of described that Porcius has these like random powers, kind of like a god. He can basically do whatever he wants. And so Carl low-key kind of takes him, and Jackie wins this round. Now we have the 6th. Grievous, who is John, shoots Ron, and so Ron dies, and Grievous moves on. Final round. Carl goes down to the cellars where everyone's being held and is like, hey, who really wants to be the next general? So now we have Jackie and Grievous going up against each other. How Grievous got this far, I don't know, but whatever. Jackie wins. Good job, Tubbo. But it's not over yet. We need to prove that like Jackie can actually be a general, and so he has to kill all the losers, which are now stripped of their weapons, by the way. He manages to do it. Probably not in good faith. But he gets the position of general, so it's all fine. That video that Carl had, yeah, it kind of broke. So Porcius gets mad and sends Jackie after him. And then Jackie kills him, but he's not really dead because he goes to the in-between. Massive warning, there's about to be a lot of derealization coming up. So Carl's back in the in-between castle, as one does. And there is a book, and it reads, "Welcome back. So much has happened all around the world since you've been here. There is much more to learn about yourself. I'm glad to finally see you again. I see you've accidentally strayed from the path recently, and I must remind you, don't stray from the path." There's smiley faces again, of course. Low-key implying, is it dream? And then there's another book guiding him up a ladder with a surprise. Then there's a bunch of blood everywhere, so it's not a fun surprise. But there's another book. "Noticed you strayed from the path a bit there. Your mind seems to be playing tricks on you. Let's not let that happen again. Go to the room where this all began." Where did this all begin? I don't know. And then there's a book labeled Origins. Guys, we already have the Origins Dsmp. "This is where you first joined us in the in-between. What a joyous time it has been. I feel you have learned so much about yourself and the abilities you possess. There is still so much to discover here in the in-between, but I can see you are starting to doubt yourself." How silly. I can tell you aren't yourself as much lately. Must be having some crazy, terrible, and skewed imagination. I assure you, this is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. They love repeating that line. Don't trust the illusions. They are only your mind deteriorating. Don't trust anything except the path. Just stick to the path and read the books. What if I don't want to read? And then there's another book that's like not a weird person, and it says, please just get to the portal. The in-between isn't what you think it is. No duh. Then there's more books like threatening him to stay on the path and whatnot and to go to the portal. Carl is freaking out, and he doesn't end up going to that portal thing. He runs away. And there's a book that says, follow the torches. It can't follow you through the portal. You'll be home soon. Keep going. Hurry. For your friends. Protect your stories. What does that mean? Also have no clue. Why do they have to speak in like code? But as he tries to like go to the portal, there's a book there which says, you may never remember your friends again if you go into this portal. Don't be silly. The in-between is here to keep you warm, comfortable, and most importantly, it is supposed to keep you in tune with the powers you possess. Do not let these visions get to you. This will not end well. You will lose everything. Don't be silly. Now again, fiancé lovers. It may suck. Life isn't fun. And now he's in a different place called the other side. It's low-key, just like dark with magma and a lot bigger. And there's a book saying that this is home now. No. And then as the end credits come, there's a black sign that says, welcome to the other side. Which, like, how crazy is all that? And then to clear some things up, Dream, Foolish, and Rambu, they are like talking about lore stuff out of character or whatnot. Rambu and Dream both say that there are red herrings in their storyline, which is like making the viewers always second guess what's going to happen. And Dream XD was supposed to just be like a one-off kind of thing for the Dreamin' video all the way back. That feels like so long ago, but now he's like low-key a character. March 21st. Jack plans his prison guard thing to kill Tommy. March 22nd. Ponk goes to Snowchester to kill Michael. Now, why? Thankfully, Sam convinces him not to, because again, why? March 23rd. Again, Ponk is really caught up on killing Michael, and honestly, what has Michael ever done to you? Michael hasn't done anything wrong. That's a child. Anyway, March 25th. Jack wants to prank Sam's house so then Sam will be distracted to let him into the prison. Jack, please stop. Romby's also been building a vault. Again, underground things in this series never go right. March 26th. Tobo finally realizes that the server will never be safe because death isn't permanent. He also has all the Dream's things, so maybe don't have them. He also plans to stock up on nukes. March 27th. Dream's gonna have a lore stream soon. Tommy's working on a watchtower near Pandora's Vault. You'd think with all the trauma associated there, you wouldn't want to be there. Not Tommy. Also, not lore related at all. They somehow got Little Nas on the server. How does that even happen? I knew it happened. I knew that was a thing that occurred. But in my brain, I'm like, what? Almost like the time AOC played Among Us with corpse in them, and I was just like, how am I living in this timeline? March 28th. Now Foolish is working on things for Kanoko Kingdom. Let's go. And Tommy finishes his watchtower. March 29th. Uncanonical, but Drista breaks Dream out of prison. That's quite funny. March 30th. Punk's gonna make a graveyard for Sam. Lovely. Bunny goes to his secret base, and he asks Rambu and Nikki, to sleep. So he wakes up, starts walking outside, as one does, in the middle of the night. Kind of strange. And oh look, it's the Kamar van. He can't get in because it's locked. Cars do that. But there's a cave, and he goes in that instead. And look, there's a chest. There's a book in it, and it is an 87-page letter to himself. It says that Fundy's not real, which that's distressing. And then he wakes up in his bed, so what the frick was that? He keeps going back to this cave with his book, being like, no, that had to exist. And then he keeps telling him, hey, you're not real, this is all fake. He's like, you sure about that? It's very distressing. And it says to not join him. Who's him? I don't know. There's this whole thing with dreams leaking into reality and reality becoming a stupid mess. March 31st. George goes to sleep and he's lucid dreaming. And then Quackity starts speaking to him. George is like, there's this dude named Loreman, and Loreman is Wilbur, who also looks like George. He's like, I'm not going to leave until you're dead, dude. Loreman and George have a fight. Loreman wins. And then Loreman is just guiding him around everywhere, I guess, in his dream still. And then Rambu shows up. This all feels like a super, horrible fever dream. And I love it. Okay. Then he meets Mexican Dream. And Mexican Dream is like, yo, I was dead. And for some reason, Mexican Dream is, mad at George and, goes to attack him. What happened? So since it's not, Mexican Dream is not a dream. Well, that was helpful. It's real life. And so he has limited time to be there until he has to return to the afterlife because, he's dead. And then Dream XD shows up. Can we not have any more people with Dream in their name? We've already got 3 of them. It's too many. First, I wonder if anything funny will happen. Probably not. Tobo and Rambu bond some, platonic husband things. Tommy and Rambu then go to Dream's bunker to rescue Henry and Friend. And then Tobo joins them. Why not? They eventually get into the bunker through this portal. And Tommy's like, what if it's not actually Henry? Think they'd be a bit more careful, but no, Henry dies. Ooh, it must hurt seeing that twice. Friend doesn't, though. Everyone just mourns for a second. April 3rd. Puffy's attempting to work on rebuilding the community house. That's sweet of you. Thank you. April 4th. I just learned that there is a Goggy shrine in Nikki's underground city. Why? I mean, you do you, but still. Anyway, April 5th. Let's totally forget that. On Tubbo's stream, there's a bunch of random flashing words. You want to hear some of them? Quick, I don't. How much time? Stay away from the north. A strange metal. Weapon washed up. It poisons the nature, the water. The water? No, it's not. That's it. We are leaving. I just had a stroke reading that. Tommy and Rambu gang up to try to get Friend to a safe location because, we lost one animal. We don't have to lose them both. Even though technically Friend has endless lives, I think. But whatever. We want to bring Friend back to Ghost Spur, which is a good idea. And then because they realize people will probably want to kill Friend, let's bring Friend to the Sky Courthouse because everyone forgets that it exists. And there's low-key another pet war. Okay, sum this up. Jack is there. Jack gets angry because there's a 3-way hotel thing happening. Whatever. Sapnap ends up joining in the battle for some reason. And so Friend gets taken away. Tommy and Ranbu have to go find Friend again because the stupid sheep cannot die on them. Yeah. And then to like secure Friend, Ranbu's like, maybe I should bring him to the B&Boo Hotel, you know? I'll be there. Carl also writes a letter to Nikki about possibly forming an alliance. April 6th, Ranbu goes to look for more photos of him dying. Oh, wish I could find one. Bad is sending out invitations for something called the Red Banquet. I wonder how that's going to go. April 9th. On Tubbo's stream again, there's more white text flashing. Someone needs to tell him he must go to the north if anyone can hear this. I have stashed a book. It has instructions. He needs to wake up. He must wake up. He must wake up. Now, maybe this has something to do with Funny's book. Do I know that for certain? No, but I'm guessing here. Tubbo is also very concerned about what's happening with the egg pyre. I think he deserves to be. You know why? Because a nuke was stolen. How do you even steal a nuke? Tommy also celebrates his 17th birthday. Happy birthday, Tommy. April 11th. It's another Tubbo stream. You know what that means? Bunch of random words. North. Go there. Don't go there. Please don't. Promise me. I like how the house is looking. It's much nicer than the north. I hate it here. I am trapped. And I feel like I'm stroking out. April 12th. Hold up. I just realized I missed the first episode of Lost Nevadas. Okay. That was March 16th. I'm sorry. All these episodes take place on the present day. So, yeah. So, the first one, we visit Dream. It's a prologue. It says, may the best day of your past be the worst day of your future. There is a conversation between Quackity and Schlatt. Schlatt's like, I wouldn't do anything to disadvantage you, Quackity. And then they focus on the prison. So, chapter 1. Bad is like, Quackity keeps getting in my way. The egg isn't a bad thing. And Quackity's like, I think the egg is a bad thing. Quackity is like high-key aware that the egg is like controlling Bad. Thank you for noticing that. And then we cut to a railway. They're going down. And ooh, look. It's Lost Nevadas. Chapter 2, A Lost Soul. Quackity's breeding some cows. It's raining, and there is a sign with a book. It was written by Glatt, and it says, if this falls in the right hands, you know who you are. Don't pay attention to page 1. If this isn't the right person... Okay. I can't laugh. It hurts too much to laugh. If this is my sugar pumpkin, then you have to do the following. Bring whey workout powder. Follow the track on top of you. Okay. Don't tell anyone about this. Come alone. Hope this note finds you well after all. And I will not say that last part because I have morals and standards. So, Quackity does the obvious and meets up with Glatt. There are other people that come to visit Glatt. This kid with the beanie, the terrible accent, probably British. And then there's a smaller kid who sounds the same but makes indistinguishable sounds and talks about how he was killed by a dream. Now, that's probably Tommy. I don't know who the first one's supposed to be. Maybe Tubbo? Glatt is like Loki, kind of lonely, and wants Quackity to come around more. Also, Glatt knows about the book of necromancy. That sucks. Then we got chapter 3, which is all about confronting Dream. Quackity wants to visit Dream, and Sam's like, maybe we shouldn't, seeing as everything that has happened recently. And Quackity's very insistent that he go and visit Dream. So, of course, they have to fight some. Lava wall disappears so that Quackity can get through, and oh, it's Dream. Quackity says, hey, yo, I know what happened with Tommy. And Dream says that he wonder how, like, people thought of it. Not highly. Quackity needs, like, the book back, the necromancy book, and Dream's like, actually, I burnt it. So Quackity wants the information. Dream won't give it to him, so Dream freaks out. Now then Sam comes bursting in to save the day. Yee! Epilogue. Now we're in El Rapids. Quackity's walking down covered in blood. How fantastic. He looks at the poster, and removes the faces of Carl, Jordan, Sapnap. He wants a new beginning for El Rapids, which is Lost Nevadas. And there is a conversation heard of Sapnap wanting to, like, take out Dream. Then we got episode 2, Confronting My Enemies. We've got a prologue. There's 2 hooded people riding on horses in the rain. Then there's a third one on a skeleton horse. Sirens are going off and whatnot, and then there's a cut, and Quackity is inside of his base emptying out chests and whatnot. We have chapter 1, 72 hours before the visit. We're on an island. It's pretty small, but it looks a bit cozy. Quackity rows up to the island, and Sam's there and is like, how did you get here? How did you find this? It was a recent build, and this is also before people knew that Tommy was, like, revived, and so there's a memorial with a disc there to memorialize him. Quackity is, like, strangely being very, like, nice and is like, Tommy's death wasn't your fault, which it kind of was. Quackity pulls up the sword and is like, the only way to end this is to kill Dream. Sam doesn't want to, but Quackity is very adamant that they do this. Chapter 2, 48 hours before the visit. Quackity's thanking someone, but we never really see who it is. He's outside of Funny's base this time, though. He eventually digs down to the egg, which, like, would anyone want to go there? At least what he thinks is the egg, because it's not. He starts placing TNT around the egg, which at this point I do not know what will destroy it. And just as he's about to light it, Bad and Puns are there. It doesn't really go well, though. Egg's still chill, and now Bad's just angry. And then Puns tells Bad not to be manipulated by Quackity, which is saying a lot for someone who's getting manipulated by an egg. And then Bad and Quackity argue once again if the egg is useless or not. Guys, I think we all know the answer. It is. Chapter 3. 24 hours before the visit. Quackity is running off to Tommy's summer home, and George is there. George is like, yo, why do you have like a giant scar on your face? And Quackity's like, techno. Quackity and George actually have like a civil conversation about everything that's going on, and Quackity is like, hey, I'm actually going to build this place called Los Nevados. And then like George like kind of draws back in a little, is like, what does this mean for Kanoko Kingdom? Also, does that mean El Rapids is basically dead now? Quackity like Loki doesn't remember anything about Kanoko Kingdom, which is kind of funny. Also, why would we all have memory loss on this server? And he insists that like Carl, Staff, and George made this country without like telling him. And Quackity's like, this means you're not part of El Rapids anymore, doesn't it? And George's like, El Rapids was never going anywhere, dude. Which like hurts. And we got the epilogue. Everything is like pristine, and also the original L'Manberg is there. Quackity is on the hills of L'Manberg talking to Wilbur, not dead Wilbur, normal Wilbur. Quackity wants to like be civil and like talk to Wilbur as a person and not a political figure, and Wilbur doesn't really accept that. And Quackity gets like very sentimental about like Wilbur not being a bad person, that he's trying to protect his people in like the only way that he knows how. And even so, like bad things can come of that, but he doesn't see Wilbur as like someone to fear or someone to hate. He just feels like the lack of belonging in L'Manberg kind of brought its own downfall. And Wilbur obviously disagrees with all this. And then he goes on a giant rant. You say everyone has a good side, Quackity, and you're right. You're right. Everyone has a good side. That good side is only there to help themselves. If you want to really help people, you're going to need power. You can make a movement, you can make a resistance, right? You can go out and you can come back, and they'll give you a ticker tape parade. They'll cheer for you in the streets, but you will change nothing. If you have a revolution, everyone will hate you. You will sacrifice everything, and you will lose everything you've ever had, but you'll come back, and everything will be changed. And Quackity, if you want to change things, you're going to need power. That's what you want, really, isn't it? Look at me. And power isn't gained from diplomacy or bureaucracy and giant courthouses suspended in the sky. It's gained from swords, Quackity. It's gained from blades. It's gained from steel, iron. Even if everyone has this good side that you're talking about, then anyone who wants to prove it has to show their dark side first. You're going to have to kill. You're going to have to torture. You're going to have to maim. When I look at you as a fellow outsider, you're not ready for that. And so Wilbur leaves. And then it goes back to present day, and Quackity is seen on his horse outside of Wilbur's memorial. He writes a book saying that Wilbur was right along, puts it in a chest, and leaves. April 14th. Puffy checks on our therapy office, and I feel like there should be a lot more business there than there is. April 16th. Foolish is working on a Pharaoh's chamber now, which, that's awesome. April 17th. Hannah is acting like she just got onto the server, which I don't really know why, but okay. She thinks she's been dreaming everything and that she just woke up here. Huh? And Sam is trying to be like, hey, Hannah, are you good? April 18th. H-Bomb hosts another episode of The Cast with Hannah, Puffy, and Nikki. And then Bad's at the egg room trying to get Skeppy to talk. The vines are really clearing up, which is disappointing to Bad, but great, thankful for everyone else. And he had revamped the entire thing for the Red Banquet. Skeppy is there and is trying to like calm Bad down because Bad's tweaking. And Skeppy is realizing, I think you're manipulating me, Bad. And so they get into an argument, and Bad accidentally calls Skeppy Ant, which I don't really know how you messed that one up, but okay. And they fight on top of the egg now, and the egg is speaking. As they're fighting, Bad's trying to like be like, I did all this for you, and Skeppy's like, no. And then Bad pushes Skeppy off and into a lava pit. And then Skeppy wakes up on an island, now in his regular blue skin again. April 21st. Jack has this information book that he's about to go interrogate people with about Friend. April 22nd. Bubbo and Ranbu walk around the server together as Tommy and Ghostbear and all them chill. Tommy also asks Ghostbear, so like, what do you do all the time? And Ghostbear says, I hang around L'Manberg. Also, I knew about their prison visit. April 23rd. Foolish is now preparing for the Red Banquet. And so are Puffy and Sam. So Puffy, Foolish, and Hannah, who's also there, all are like collectively like, the egg pyre isn't great. done bad things to us. But Sam's like, what if not? Because weapons and armor and all that are going to be taken away. Sam's like, we should hide them in the banquet table. How? Don't ask too many questions. They all have a code word to be like, if anything goes wrong, say this, and then we'll like fix it. They then meet Ant at Church Prime, in which Puffy says, I hope the Eggfire can turn a new leaf. And the Ant's like, there will be one. And then there's more diverging things. Rambu has his Enderwalk saga streams. It's chapter 1. He's in Michael's room in this Enderwalk state that he has. And he goes to see Foolish. And Rambu, as him and Foolish are like walking around and talking, he's like, something came up. And Foolish is like, huh? Whatever. He's very confused of what's going on. These weird flashing things keep coming up. One of them says, Lesson 14, if you have the opportunity to gain a favor, take it. And then another one says, Lesson 27, do not reminisce on what you have lost, for it will only wear you down. Not too bad. Rambu thinks Dream has something to do with it, which at this point, probably. And then he goes to his panic room and the cube. And there's more text, and this one says, Lesson 53, never fully trust anyone. Now that one I do not agree with. As he tries to loop back around to the prison, we have Lesson 67, leave no evidence of what you have helped with. Now Rambu's getting real upset and he's starting to break down now. He tries to reassure himself that everything's fine, but Lesson 94 says, do not let them know what you have done. He runs back to the present, trying to like beg Sam to let him in, and Sam's like, that's not happening, dude. But Rambu doesn't want to see Dream. He wants to put himself in the prison. So Sam tries to comfort Rambu to be like, Rambu, you're a good person. Why would I put you in the prison? And Rambu's not taking any of that. He then finally goes back to his house and gets some water splash potions, which if you're half Enderman, I don't think that's a good idea, but okay. And he writes, what am I? That's a great question. How about you please answer it? April 24th. It's also the 1-year anniversary of the Dream SMP. Matt meets with Foolish to give Foolish like a proper invitation to the Red Banquet. Honk is also planning on going to the Red Banquet, and he's like, I'm kind of afraid of going outside. It's like, what? George, Sap, Carl, Dream, and Bad all reflect on the Dream SMP's 1-year history, which is so sweet. Also, we get some background on characters. Sapnap was found by Bad and was adopted by Bad. So Sapnap is Bad and Skeppy's child. Not biologically. Also gives Sapnap an invitation to the Red Banquet. He says it'll be a party to die for. And then Bad goes to Eret and gives them a invitation to the Red Banquet. April 25th. It's the Red Banquet Day. We have Bad, Ant, and Ponk who are hosting it. And then Puffy, Nikki, Hannah, Fundy, Eret, George, and H-Bomb who are all attending. All the weapons and armor has been hidden. Bad, Ponk, and Ant shouldn't have any clue what's going on. Suspected, they are asked to remove their armor, so good thing we hid some. Rambu is also kind of there, but no one sees him. He's there. Bad makes his speech. The banquet is turning a new leaf. Even if Foolish, Eret, and all of them are like, you kind of destroyed our stuff, guys. Bad asks, would anyone like to say anything before he starts his speech? Nobody does. And so after he finishes, the walls turn to lava. Everyone's trapped now. And the banquet was a trap, guys. We all suspected it. It was a trap to lure all the people that didn't trust in the egg to die. And all that armor that they thought they could have, no, it got stolen. And then Hannah joins the Eggfire's side. Yay! Eret is very angry, and Ponk retorts and like, hey, you betrayed Lamanberg, though. Does not. So then Hannah's like, let's execute you first. She tries to fight against it with a lightning bolt, which I think brings in more like the he's a god thing. But Puffy stands up for her son and asks how these family trees work. I don't understand either. Puffy is like, bro, Ant, you were super selfish. How about let's not have all this? So Ant kills Foolish, and as they're trying to find out who to kill next, Quackity comes out. Commands for Bad and the rest of the Eggfire to like stop. That's like, what are you gonna do with just yourself? Quackity's like, I have an army. And Technoblade comes too, with his hound army. And then Purple showed up, who is technically working for the Eggfire, but then Quackity gave him more money. So like, Techno said that he didn't want to work with Quackity, but the Eggfire was getting out of control. So like, push comes to shove. And as everyone's fighting, Puffy kills Ant with an axe. Do you, girl? So as the Eggfire is retreating, Quackity's like, how do we destroy the egg then? So Bad, Ponk, and Hannah make their way to the surface. Bad is, angry that the egg isn't theirs anymore. Runs off in a boat and says that he just wanted what the egg could give him and that he never really wanted to hurt anyone. If that was the case, why did you try to kill everyone? And then Purple leads them out through Quackity's secret passage. And Techno, Quackity, and Sam all discuss how they are going to destroy the egg. And with that, we are on to the aftermath of the Red Banquet. So if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that really YouTubers are supposed to say, and goodbye.